It's not a bird, it's not a plane, it's Superhero Slate. It's a weekly podcast where we talk about everything that's great, like movies, TV, superheroes. It's Superhero Slate. Oh yeah.
Hello everyone and welcome to Superhero Slate, the show where we run down the latest superhero entertainment news.
We love TV, movies, superheroes, and your mom. So let's talk it all out.
Oh, Lord. My name is Chris.
My name is Mike.
And this week we've got your mom on the podcast. No, I'm kidding. Just to play along with you there, Mike. We have the first Peacemaker Season 2 trailer. Shows
your
for
mom may
moms.
have liked.
Yeah.
Your mom may have liked that trailer. There was
shows for moms.
There's some tidy whities for sure.
That's right. The Fantastic Four promos go silent. Wink, wink. That's a play on words. We're going to talk about that later. Godzilla and Kong's next outing gets teased with the official Godzilla week. I think it's his 70th anniversary this week. So there was a lot more Godzilla news than I expected and more.
Yeah, I've been kind of diving into the kind of family calendar space of kind of organization and technology recently. And so I've been learning a lot about like how calendars work like on phones, because I've kind of been a person who's been lucky enough to not been super crazy pulled in many different directions. But now that I have a kid, I have to learn how like the calendar feature works on my phone. So I'm learning how to subscribe to public calendars, make private calendars. And weirdly enough, it's kind of hard to find public calendars out there in the world. And I was really hoping I could find like one of those like niche calendars where it's just like, I want to subscribe to a calendar that tells me when all the crazy, ridiculous like holidays are. Like I want to know when National Donut Day is. I want to know when Godzilla week is. Like show me when the 3 Batman days a year happen. But I can't quite find it. And sometimes when I do find calendars that tell me, oh, this is a U.S. holiday calendar, subscribe to this one, I'll subscribe to it, and then I'll turn it on and nothing shows up.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm not entirely sure. Like
I was very concerned how you were going to tie that into Godzilla. That was a long story to get there.
Chris, for halfway through, I honestly forgot myself. So
Yeah.
I'm glad I found my way back to it.
I was like,
But
God damn.
I would like to know.
Yeah.
Like, I want to wake up in the morning and go, okay, it's Godzilla week. This is good. Now I know how my whole week is going to go for the rest of it. You know?
I mean, that'd be great to have the, nerd weeks, I guess. Like, knowing it was, like, the 20th anniversary of Revenge of the Sith. Like, little, like, not every year, but, like, you know, like, yeah, Godzilla week or, like, Star Wars celebrations in 2 years. Like, knowing, like, all these big nerd things would be interesting. I agree. Like, San Diego Comic-Con, when's Marvel's panel calendar? So maybe we can look at making a nerd calendar. AI can help us do this.
Yeah, we could make it, and our upcoming release calendar that we always talk about on our website, we could just plug in all those dates. So if you kind of like wanted to scroll through the calendar and be like, oh, this is when Shang-Chi 2, Wreckage of Time was going to come out, and be like, oh, where'd it go?
That's a deep.
We removed it because it ain't
like,
coming out.
That's a deep cut, even that you remembered the title for that one. I know you don't remember what we talked about last week on the show sometimes, so I'm surprised you pulled out a Shang-Chi.
Selective memory.
It's a good title. If they ever come to that movie, that's a good goddamn title. They should use that. Also, for people who don't know it, as the phrase would be, fuck it, we're doing it live today, folks. We literally just were like, Mike said, we'll do it in an hour because tomorrow was Mother's Day and we're both have things going on. So we're doing it on a Saturday afternoon here, Saturday evening for me, and we're just having a good time. We're just jiving, but I don't have much, Mike, else unless you just want to jump into some of this news here. We can get going.
Let's jump like the gorilla himself.
Let's run like Godzilla did in Godzilla X Kong. A new world order. Was it New Order?
Does he I feel like he kind of runs like a toddler, you know, like he's technically running. Really, Godzilla could walk, and it's like the speed of running because he's got big old strides.
Right. And I think it's just because like, you know, maybe it's toddlers that they don't know how to like move their legs parallel yet, so they kind of like rotate. Like there's a lot of hip movement rather than like just leg movement. So, but Godzilla X Kong, it's Godzilla week, 70th anniversary. They've been doing some promos. I just saw one for South East Asia is getting their own Godzilla. I don't know if it's a movie, TV show, promo, short film, whatever. But he's got different design, different colors. I thought that was fun. But the big news for us is relevant to the show is Godzilla X Kong Supernova is the title of the next movie. And Supernova is an interesting title, Mike, because that usually means an exploding star, right, in space. And from all the Godzilla and Kong movies we've seen so far, what's that? MON-ARCH, Legacy of Monsters, the Monsterverse, whatever they're calling it, is that it's all on Earth. Minus King Ghidorah, who said they came from space, but they didn't show any of that stuff. So this first teaser just says, hey, production's coming on. Hey, if you see a Titan, you need to call 240 MON-ARCH is the phone number. Apparently this is a number you can call and get like a pre-recorded thing to listen to. We haven't had those in decades, it feels like, Mike, where you call a number and they tell you something. Like, they're like, websites are easy to build. But with the title Supernova, I was like, I'm going to dive into my Godzilla knowledge base here and go look at the different eras. And back, I believe it might have been I don't think it was the Toho era, maybe the Showa era. But there was after Ghidorah, who was a space creature, there was a Titan or a monster Godzilla fought in the next one called Gigan. If you saw Gigan, Mike, you would recognize him because he's kind of got like a bird face, claws for arms, and a big razor blade down his belly that rotates and spins.
Yeah, I'm looking at him now. He does kind of have an alien look to him. Badass. He's got like scythes for hands, and this one he has like a hammer on one hand and then a side. Yeah, this thing looks like it's from outer space. Yeah,
it's very, very alien-y. He's supposed to be a cyborg of some kind, but I don't get cyborgy. Like, there's a couple different versions, and like one's more of a cyborg, but like the main original one obviously looks like a guy in a rubber suit.
I mean, so this is would this be the fourth or fifth Godzilla movie, or in like this franchise, like including the Kong?
Oh, this would be, I believe, the fifth one, because there's the original Godzilla, there's Skull Island, then there's King of Monsters, which is Godzilla versus Ghidorah, then there's Godzilla versus Kong, and then Godzilla X Kong, and now this one. This is like maybe the sixth one, actually.
Yeah, so I think it's now they are solidly in Fast and Furious territory, where just jump the shark, go crazy. I mean, I guess you could say they did it in the last one. I mean, they left realism a while ago, but that's kind of like the only way I will ever kind of be excited about the franchise ever again. Like, give me like a space station. Like, give me like MON-ARCH has made a space station. They built a space elevator, and they're gonna snag Godzilla and they're gonna bring him up the space. Like, do like the craziest stuff, because at this point it doesn't matter to me.
They have the Hollow Earth, and I think the last movie was more even like a Kong movie, right? Like, where he had the was it that Scar King, the other red monkey he was facing,
and the baby Kong, and he got like a fist, he got like a metal fist and everything.
So this one should lean. I think this one should go back to Godzilla, right? Pass it back to him. He doesn't just need to charge up and then do that. I want to see more Titans, crazy creatures. Gigan is there. Another one, for those who may not know, there was a movie, Godzilla versus Space Godzilla, in the old movies as well. And it's not a people of this era that it came from. It's a bad era of films, but they're like, this is the best of the bad films, and it's essentially another. The previous movie, there's this Titan who was like an organic spore thing. Spores flew up into space, created a space clone of Godzilla. He came back down, had like rocks on, like crystals grow down his shoulders and stuff like that.
I hope listeners can hear me furiously typing on my keyboard as I've been Googling every single creature in this topic, and they've all been like really cool. Like, Space Godzilla has like these giant like crystal shoulder blades. It's like nuts.
Yeah, he looks like he looks like something like if you're playing Tekken or like a Japanese, like maybe a Final Fantasy game, and like the boss, like, I have one more form, and he levels up, and this is like the form he has, like he gets extra crystals.
Or if like Godzilla was in Smash Bros, like this would be like another skin.
Yeah.
Or like this, what's it called? The Final Smash? Is that what they call them?
Yeah.
When you get the Smash Ball.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he's definitely from the era. If you look at the old rubber suit, I'm like, yeah, he looks awful. But I'm like, I would love to see how they kind of transform this a little bit into the new one. But a lot of people don't think it's Space Godzilla. They think it's Gigan. So we'll see. We'll see how it goes. I think again, like you said, they don't necessarily have to jump the shark, but they don't have to like. The people don't matter, right? We talked about it like back when Millie Bobby Brown and the guy who's playing Jon Stewart in the upcoming Green Lantern show. We didn't need to follow them. We just wanted to see the big creatures fight each other the whole time. With that, so Godzilla X Kong Supernova first teaser in here. Nothing important, but you can check that out. Moving on to the Fantastic Four, our next Marvel movie outing. We do have other superhero movies before then, but Fantastic Four's next Marvel movie outing, now that Thunderbolts is in theaters, has a fun little HERBIE silence your phone promo that someone filmed in a theater and put in here. And what I love about these promos and the Fantastic Four stuff, this feels like going to a drive-in theater in the night, or like in the 60s, right? Like if you can think about old drive-in stuff, let's all go to the lobby. Like this feels like it could really lean into that, and it does a little bit. But it's just kind of fun to see all the retro futuristic styles and things they're playing with here.
Yes, but of course, in my perfect world, I want all the silence your phone segments to just be straightforward somebody yelling at you. I need people to be afraid.
Shame.
I want people to be terrified that if their Apple Watch goes off, like somebody's gonna like chicken jockey them or something. I need fear, and I feel like this is too fun. And also, I think there should be a legal requirement that if you're doing a silence your phone segment, the segment cannot end with the sponsor E logo. Because at the very end of the segment, the very last thing you see is the Fantastic Four logo. No. The last thing I want to see is a phone smash with a hammer. Something like that.
Well, the thing should smash it, or Johnny could burn
exactly, it. Yeah. Exactly, that's what I want. I just want like the thing, and then just a close-up shot. You just see the thing's fist, and he's just smashing like 20 phones. Yeah, like that's what I want.
Well, the end of the promo is enjoy the movie. I just love the style of it. I've actually not had any issues in the theaters lately. Knock on wood. But I do enjoy these. I love seeing the extra fun they can have with the Fantastic Four style that we've talked about. Right? Like I guess they could have done this with Thunderbolts. Yelena, but there's some stuff. I like that they're doing fun stuff, and it's not just go buy a Coke and sit down at the movie theater. I do hope they do. I never get to go to the AMC that has the freestyle machine, Mike, but I really hope they do a Fantastic Four flavor in the freestyle machines for this. Wouldn't that be pretty solid?
Yeah, I would love that.
I think so as well. Also, some people on the director. I think not the director. Maybe it was the director. Everyone's out for Thunderbolts from Marvel, so I don't know who said this. But HERBIE is confirmed to be an on-set robot and puppet with some CGI enhancements as well. Akin to how they do Star Wars these days, right, with the droids. So they did show some of the HERBIE stuff behind the scenes, and I think that's pretty neat. I'm excited to kind of see that take shape. And
interesting.
Yeah, and then also whether HERBIE's not really talking, at least not that we know of. HERBIE may talk in the movie. Matthew Wood, who was the voice of General Grievous, will be the voice of HERBIE in this. I thought maybe Natasha Lyonne was going to be the voice of HERBIE, right? Because she's in the movie in an unknown role. So, but it's fun to do that. Secondly, on our Fantastic Four things, for people who happen to follow the show notes, we have a link to Julia Garner on set in LA for Fantastic Four reshoots. And I'm linking from the Daily Mail because it was on X, and then they linked to the Daily Mail. I didn't want to link to X. This is a shitty website. This is one of the worst websites I've ever been to, Mike, just to give you a heads up. But if you scroll down far enough, you will see her on set near the ocean doing reshoots in a blue dress, in human form, obviously not Silver Surfer form. We believe this is like her pre-Silver Surfer transformation, like when she's Shalla Bal on her planet.
Yeah. Possibly like maybe a flashback, or maybe she's telling her own story. Yeah. So I feel like Silver Surfers in general, they're always very like narrative. They wanna spin you a tale and tell you a story. So yeah, we could see that. I'm still kind of like hooked on HERBIE here because I was watching that preview and I was trying to get a look at his base, because if HERBIE is rolling around on wheels, there's a theoretical chance that maybe we could see this little robot like in Tomorrowland at one of the Disney parks. That would be sick. Yeah, it looks like it has wheels as far as I can.
Yeah, if you go to
tell,
about 8 seconds in, you can see him on the wheel.
Yeah, so I want that to happen.
Yeah. Well, I also I know they can't do it in Disney World, but Disney Land, the Marvel park. I would love them to actually do like a Fantastic Four section, right? Like that kind of world, because I don't love the Avengers campus at Disneyland. It's kind of a letdown because it's so small, it's tiny. But I think having a ride with the Fantastic Four would be really cool.
Agreed.
And also, when you said seeing Herbie on the streets, I imagine Herbie being one of those puppets, one of the, I guess, animatronics or whatever they call them when you're on the ride as well, following you around. So maybe they'll do something with that down the road. Shifting gears into Avengers Doomsday, it is under production, and I don't have it here, but they've some people have gotten some photos of scripts on set, not actual script, what do they call them, set. Call sheets. That's what I'm looking for. Call sheets, and they've been giving them locations of set, interior house, Iron Fist house, and in the next day there was interior or exterior house, Luke Cage, and so it sounds like Marvel is just throwing random names at these sets to really throw people off whenever they're getting leaks along the way, or someone actually is Iron Fist and someone's Luke Cage, and they're like, now we know who the fucking leakers are, and you're gonna be fired.
Maybe, yeah. I mean, this is not the Russo brothers' first time around on these high-profile movies, so I would not be surprised if they were just like, oh, I want to hire somebody whose entire job is just to scramble the news, do whatever. Your whole job is just to confuse the hell out of anybody that's outside of these gates. I want you to go to Home Depot, buy a weird lawn statue and put it out in that crater-filled courtyard just to screw with them,
Well, I imagine it's kind of like the Navajo code breakers from World War II that we're gonna need in here, because they're really throwing out some really random stuff, and they're gonna have someone on the other side. We're doing it old fashioned. We've got someone who's got a piece of paper, and they have to decode this whole thing. But it's a 1960s house, so it could be related to the Fantastic Four. It could be related to possibly X-Men flashbacks. I can't think of anyone on the Avengers or New Avengers that would be in the 1960s, right?
40. So that would be 40. That would be over 60 plus
60
years ago.
Yeah.
So if it was a flashback, it could be, Xavier, Magneto, possibly younger.
Yeah, and knowing specifically that it's a 60s house, it could be Fantastic Four, since that is retro futuristic 60s. Maybe if they come in, it may be that where they're already merged, they've landed, they've already settled, and they're like, okay, well, we're gonna build something that feels like home. So it's they build themselves a 60s house, right? Because that's all they know. Was it Frank Lloyd Wright houses kind of thing, those single story ones? So Avengers Doomsday, no new set videos this week, folks, so sorry to disappoint. But as more things get filming, we'll keep you appraised. And again, I really think I agree with you, Mike. They're literally going to be throwing things out there, filming things that will never happen, just to mess with everybody. Because A, they've got the money, and B, they probably love seeing the fake articles pop up later, right? Hey, we got them, we fooled them. They'll never know what's coming down the road for that. I didn't have this in the news, but I'm going to go ahead and share it here. This might be spoilers for New Avengers. I'm sorry, Thunderbolts, if you didn't see it. I say it wrong because they've already changed all the Thunderbolts marketing to New Avengers. Literally everywhere, Mike. I can't get away from it. And they happened on Monday.
Yeah, it's funny because we were talking maybe during when we were doing spoilers for the movie the other week, or maybe off mic, we were curious, when are they gonna probably spin up maybe some marketing around what the actual new name of the team is, and it was right away,
the next day.
The second the opening weekend was over. So I guess, spoilers, yes, but also the official movie studio is already pushing marketing dollars behind it to get it in front of you. So I guess you know, damned if you do, damned if you don't.
They had a video of all the Thunderbolts pulling off the Thunderbolts like a tearaway poster revealing the new name. You sent me the video. I've seen like a dozen times from different angles. Sebastian Stan replacing bus signs with the new Avengers. They're big multi-story building. Do you ever see that when you're out there in LA? The big multi-story building?
Yeah, it's down in Hollywood. I don't come across it often, but a lot of eyeballs on that street.
Yeah, so it was Thunderbolts, and then they did the Tearaway, New Avengers, like that. Now it's already actually changed to Stitch for Lilo and Stitch coming out.
Which is really funny.
Yeah. The Wheaties boxes. What else have they done? Oh, and then they even took the Avengers social media tags and put the copyright symbol in front of them because of the Sam Wilson thing. So they're having fun with this. The movie is actually just down. It had like I shared with Mike the biggest Tuesday uplift of like most Marvel movies ever. And it's coming in like a negative 54, down 53% over last week, which is, that sounds bad, but it's actually really good movie world. So it sounds like, I'm not going to say the new Avengers title change things, but it might have snagged some on the fence people, Mike, and brought them over. So
my mom told me she's going tomorrow on Mother's Day, and then I was just like, I know my mom likes to catch the Marvel movies whenever they're kind of on cable. So I was like, oh, have you seen like the Black Widow movie? And she's like, no, I haven't seen that one. I was like, well, I know she definitely hasn't seen Falcon and the Winter Soldier. So I sent her a YouTube link of my favorite YouTube recapper. And I just got the response back of like, he talks too fast. I have to watch it again. So, if I could find a way to share a link with the speed down to like 0.5x, I would do that. But she'll just watch it twice. It'll be fine.
Yeah. It probably would have been easier just to say watch Black Widow than try to send her that and have her watch it 3 times. So,
but I was like, I don't think she has Disney Plus, and like that's a whole nother login thing. So whatever.
Yeah. Well, maybe your brother could have helped her. I don't know. There's ways to do it. But yeah, so Thunderbolts, pick it up. I think it's got some legs. It's got no competition this weekend, so we'll see. We'll come back next week. We'll give it 2 weeks. Speaking of Thunderbolts, director Jake Schreier, who directed Thunderbolts, is in talks to direct X-Men. And this is from all the trades, Mike. This isn't like a rumor or a scooper. Like, this is like Deadline reporting that he has turned down other projects. That Marvel is happy with the Thunderbolts, the reception. It's not going to be the biggest box office thing in the world, but nobody expected it to be. Kind of thing. So this sounds like a big win to grab him and move into the X-Men realm.
Yeah, I mean, I hate to be so like reductive when we talk about movies of like, oh well, they directed a team, so this is good. They're directing another team, but that's the first thing that pops into my head. Like, he did a good job with the dynamics on the Thunderbolts, so that's basically what X-Men is. It's like a chosen family situation, which is something they kind of created in Thunderbolts.
Yeah.
So I'm happy for this news. Good job, Hollywood.
Yeah, and also like even with that, even if you look at the team, he was able to direct like I would say a more emotionally heavy Marvel film that we've seen in a long time, right? Like. It's definitely, he could do things with other teams. For people who don't know, he also directed the show Beef and one of the episodes of Skeleton Crew as well. I always forget he did Skeleton Crew. He does a lot of music videos. I just looked up a lot of music videos too, which is cool. But yeah, so X-Men, I'm gonna guess they'll probably try to strike a deal with them. And if they like him, they'll probably announce that at San Diego Comic-Con in just a couple months. So we'll keep you guys posted. If you got money in Vegas, one of the upcoming bets would be, is Thor 5 going to happen or not? And the rumor this week, heavily rumored, is that Chris Hemsworth is coming back for Thor 5. However, he's looking to bring Sam Hargraves, the director of Extraction films, with him. I don't think it was a question. They were probably, Taika Waititi wasn't going to come back to Marvel, and they probably weren't going to have him come back. So this would be an interesting take. I have no hard feelings either way with him as a director. I think.
Yeah, it's kind of. I mean, I guess if we were tired of the Taika Waititi humor that just went way too far in the other direction, I don't know what else Sam Hargrave has done outside of Extraction. I've seen the Extraction movies. They are very action forward. It's kind of like Call of Duty the movie. So maybe this would be like a nice kind of like reprieve from maybe Thor just kind of being one big joke. But they get along well. And I think even I can't recall exactly what Hemsworth said, but isn't he like on the record somewhere in a quote that like, yeah, maybe we went a little too far with Love and Thunder.
I think recently he's been like, yeah, we know it wasn't as the best thing we could have done, essentially, right? Like, yeah, we went a little too jokey with it, but it's one of those movies they were like, we got to make it in the volume, right? It's one of those pandemic films, so
yeah, I mean, I think you gotta give Thor. You got to give Thor one more. I mean, ideally, in a perfect world, maybe it would have been before Secret Wars, since he's kind of like the final Avenger that needs his big send-off.
Well, the Hulk.
Oh, yeah. Well, he's kind of like keyed up to keep going. He hasn't even had his own movie yet. So
yeah, just one, but that they keep referring to, despite 20 years of it. But like, I don't know if he needs to, like, the previous rumor was he would go out in Secret Wars, right? There was in the Jonathan Hickman books, Avengers, he takes on the Beyonders and dies, and then he comes back with the Thor core. We've talked about the Thor core, like being the military thing on Battleworld, right? That's from the comic books. But I think you do give him one, and I do you do that thing that we they talk about in Asgard, like we've already done Ragnarok, but like when Asgard dies, it's like reborn again, like, right? Like everybody comes back, so like that's also like a nice soft reboot for Thor if they want to recast it and like redo the dynamics with the team. But like, I need to see him with Loki one more time. I think that would be a really, really good scene for that. But also just looked it up, Sam Hargrave. I did spell it right. He did Extraction and Extraction 2, but he is mostly a stunt coordinator, and he's been a stunt coordinator on Civil War, the Suicide Squad, the first one, Infinity War, Deadpool 2, and Endgame. So and a second unit director for those movies as well. So he's in the ecosystem, I guess, right? Like that's what you want. Yeah, like
I'll rubber stamp it.
Give him a movie. It's Thor. They're all over the place. You can literally, really, if you think about it, there's only one really good Thor movie. The other ones are mid. So, I guess the law of averages means he can only be upwards from there. Wow. On that. Popping into Daredevil. Daredevil is season 3 is still filming right now. I saw some more on-set photos of Daredevil in his new suit, which appears to be painted and like the paint's coming off, which is fun, but I'm not going to share those. We've already looked at them in previous episodes, but the season 3 plans are in the works, but only if people watch the show. I believe this might have been a Vincent D'Onofrio statement, like, hey, we hopefully we can do a season 3, but like all other television series on in the world, Mike, if you only can be successful and get more seasons if people watch your show, right? So that this sounds like Marvel's doing the television approach rather than like, yeah, we got to keep making Daredevil. We got to do it until we milk that cow dry. I did see it was like a bunch of NBC. Was it NBC canceled a bunch of shows before the upfronts this week? I think the upfronts are coming up. One of them was Suits LA with the guy from who's the Arrow, Mr. Arrow himself.
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm.
I
can't recall his name, but
he can't catch a break after Arrow, like at all.
Stephen Amell, yeah, yes. And also he kind of got in trouble during the writer's strike because he was scabbing. Well, I guess actors strike, but yeah, he was scabbing. So
was he scabbing?
I guess this is what
was he scabbing, or was he out there just saying, "I don't." Why are we striking? I didn't think he was scabbing. I thought he was just saying.
I think he said that after he got caught scabbing. I don't know. I haven't looked into it, but I don't need a Suits LA. I watched all of normal Suits on Netflix, and that was enough for me.
I've watched most of Suits on YouTube Reels at this point, or YouTube Shorts.
It's
one of those that and the Blacklist. Like I get force fed on reels and shorts all the time for some reason. So
yes, Suits is great because it starts with this great premise of like a super smart guy with like a photographic memory becomes a lawyer but has like no law license. Like he's totally like a fake lawyer, but he's good at it. And then about halfway through the series, they wrap up that storyline, and then it's just like, why are we still watching this? Like the main kind of like gimmick is like over. So yeah.
Oh well. But that show wrapped up, and maybe one day Daredevil will wrap up, Mike, and we'll get a nice little bow on everything there in the Marvel realm. Moving on to the Vision show. This came up, I think, in a different conversation when they were talking. Was it Disney conference? Was it like an investor thing this week? Or
there was a quarterly earnings, I believe.
Yes. So one of the things is I think it was Bob Iger was praising Thunderbolts for being back to the original Marvel formula, and we can go into all that stuff, but it's not really that. But one of the things is that, going forward in Marvel television, they're not going to be bringing forward big screen characters down to the television to make shows. They plan to go forward bringing on characters introduced into television, like Wonder Man, right? Like, we're not going to get Wonder Man in a movie and then bring him to the show. We're just going to give him a show. And if he maybe gets referenced in the movies, that's fine. But, like, he will if they do a Wonder Man season 2, they'll probably just live in the television realm, right? Kind of like Daredevil's doing. But they said The Vision is the last MCU TV series to do this, to bring characters that were introduced in the movies first down to the TV realm. And to me,
I think
Vision like wraps up a nice trilogy though as well, with WandaVision, Agatha, and this.
Yeah, I think so too. And I have a feeling that this possibly could be due to like they just need these series to be more affordable too. Like everyone's trying to make streaming more profitable and make more business sense. And if you take like a Tom Hiddleston, and even though the Loki show is amazing, probably one of my favorite things that exists within the MCU right now, still like you gotta pay Tom Hiddleston prices, and that's expensive. But if you just kind of like pluck somebody, not from like obscurity, but like if you get somebody like on TV actor level and you build up, you can just get a lot more runway kind of out of that contract. And then, you kind of like do it old school where you build an audience and you get everyone hype. And then when they appear in a big movie, like that's exciting because it's like, oh wow, I've watched like 30 episodes with this character and I'm like 15 hours deep into this. So it's fun to see them on the big screen now.
Yeah. I also would say to me, it's one of those situations where like, not that the Defenders was good, but I would like it to be like the TV characters can exist on TV and they can coalesce together and maybe like an event series on TV, right? Rather than trying to bring them to the movies. Because like, again, yes, there can be crossover, but like cost, you mentioned Loki, you Tom Hiddleston, you got Owen Wilson, and then the guy who would be Kang before he, shot himself in the foot there. Like that was probably a very expensive show that we talked about last week. Jeremy Renner being offered, half the pay for Hawkeye to do the same amount of filming for season 2. I also heard that was planned. They did that so they knew he would turn it down and they could pin it back on Jeremy Renner for not doing a season 2. But like at the same time, like TV costs do have to go down. They have to be contained. We, like I think I've heard this phrase a lot. Kevin Feige was like, "Oh, watching Marvel is now like doing homework." Well, yes, that's what you were told to do by the runners of Disney. They were like, yes, do more Marvel stuff. And I think I agree. Like if it stays on TV, like I've not, like Daredevil, I didn't have to watch it the first weekend or all the weekends right away to watch that show, Mike, because there wasn't anything tied into the show, movies, right, to watch it. So I'm fine with keeping TV down to TV and not bringing it down. But I'm excited I'm going to be honest, Vision's pretty exciting. I'm very excited for Vision. I think that's going to be really fun to bring back Jane Spader, and then the guy who essentially kidnapped Tony Stark and told him to build the missiles from the first Iron Man movie coming back. Like I think they can have some nice deep cuts in there. Would that make him the longest running actor in the MCU at that point?
Oh,
I'm trying to think if Pepper Potts comes back.
Well, since they had to recast General Ross,
he wasn't in Iron Man.
Well, But the Hulk came out before Iron Man, didn't it?
No, it did not. Iron Man was May. Hulk was July.
Oh, yeah, it was. It was right after. That's right.
Yeah.
I guess you're right. Just anyone that existed within the first Iron Man movie. Yeah. I mean, because War Machine was recast, so, it can't be War Machine.
Nick Fury.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Yeah, Nick Fury's the only opportunity we still have. And Pepper Potts.
So I only rewatched Spider-Man Far From Home recently, but when Quentin Beck is doing his whole grand speech after he gets the glasses, they do flash back to the first Iron Man, and there's just a scientist there in the first movie, and is also in the bar. He has some speaking lines in the Spider-Man movie, but I guess he's been around also since then. He could pop back up. I don't know.
Well, that's the Christmas Story kid. Tony Stark built this in a cave.
Yeah.
It's a Tony Stark built this in the cave, dude. And it's I can't think of the guy's name.
If Jon Favreau continues to exist within the MCU, he could bring on. Oh yeah, Jon Favreau. Yeah, he was in the first Iron Man movie. He's probably going to be the longest. They can't kill Happy. He's Happy.
Yeah, right. Yeah, I think they teased that once already, and they didn't do it. So, yeah, I mean it's interesting. But when Vision comes out, it'll be him. It'll be that guy in the moment. So, fun stuff. All right. Anyway, moving on to next bit of news here. The Batman Part 2. I've seen news for the Batman. Everyone is very worried about the Batman Part 2 coming out or being in production. And to me, Mike, as an owner of a new Batman television, I agree. I need a new Batman to watch on my TV. However, how often do I think about the Batman movie, right? Matt Reeves' first Batman movie. How often do you sit and think about that film?
Yeah, I think since it came out kind of during the pandemic or kind of when people were starting to go back outside, it's still a little bit like, oh, does anybody remember that? Or was everyone sick, right after they saw it? Yeah, I don't think about it often.
Yeah, I feel like it's not a bad movie, but it's one of the, like we always talk about, Batman. Every time a new Batman version comes out, they got to get more real, more gritty, more dark, and that was like the darkest, grittiest Batman to date. But I'm like, I don't have a desire to go watch this movie. Now, the Penguin show did, gained a lot of traction. A lot of people liked it, but like, you didn't have Batman in it, so it didn't really matter. But so I'm not clamoring for a Batman Part 2, but James Gunn is out there saying that Matt Reeves is still attached to direct this movie. Some people, we talked about him possibly having a oh my gosh, Chadwick Boseman situation, him or somebody else. We don't know the details. That's personal stuff. I don't care. Do what he needs to do. But like, do you think we're going to get James Gunn's Batman before we get Matt Reeves' Batman Part 2?
So this is interesting because I saw this headline a couple days ago and I didn't bother sending it to you because I was like, oh, Chris already has seen this probably hours ago. And we'll probably talk about it on Sunday anyway if it's worth talking about. And it did make me think, though, it's kind of interesting imagining this Batman franchise continuing without Matt Reeves because the two are intertwined and connected to me. Like, I don't know if Matt Reeves is necessarily like auteur director status like a Nolan, but if Matt Reeves wasn't connected to this movie anymore and they just picked a different director, I would say the future of this specific Batman universe is totally on like shaky ground. I feel like if Matt Reeves is not there to kind of like put his vision on this Batman, they could basically pivot and do whatever they want with this universe. Yeah. Maybe this is the universe in Gunn's world, Maybe they find a way to connect it, Like, I feel like, I'm not saying once the producers get their hands on it, it would necessarily be bad, but I guarantee a sequel without Matt Reeves would be totally different compared to if he touched it.
And I also feel, James Gunn says they won't greenlight anything till there's a script, and he keeps saying there's no script for this movie. They're waiting on him. They trust him to give a script. So, like, if he doesn't go forward, he's probably not writing the script either. So to your point, it's just a new blank slate that they can go off of, right? Down that road. Mm-hmm. So I think, they've announced, to James Gunn's fault, they announced Batman the Brave and the Bold a couple years ago. And this week I saw James Gunn said that he's working on an unannounced DC project, which I assume he's going to write Batman next. If I had if I had a bet, Mike, I would say he did Superman, and the next thing he's doing is Batman. But like, pick one. Give us a Batman. I want Gunn's Batman. If I'm going to be honest, I want it. We saw him in Creature Commandos a little bit. We know he's got a history. We know he's kind of got a little bit of a presence there. And James Gunn's world is lived in and a little lighter-hearted. I would love to see the world's greatest detective do some detectiving along the way. And also his son, Damian Wayne, who is like a little psycho, ninja dude who, was trained to kill people, would be a very interesting foil to Batman. So I would much rather see that than another depressed Robert Pattinson Batman wearing eyeliner for a whole film. But, what do we know, Mike? We just watch the movies. We just absorb them.
True.
Eat them all up. If anyone else has any ideas for Batman, send them over. Love to hear from you. Because I always hear people say the Long Halloween. They want to see the Long Halloween in movie form. And I don't know if we'll ever get to that part, right? Like, to the point where they're like, yeah, we have enough established villains that we can do the Long Halloween for him. Oh, well. Moving into where we saw Batman for the first time was Creature Commandos, where we also saw Clayface for the first time. Last week we reported that Clayface is getting a page 1 rewrite because Mike Flanagan handed in the skeleton script, and this week they have said that Hossein Amini, who wrote Drive, will write the screenplay for the movie Clayface. And James Gunn went out there and said that the movie is still moving forward with a 2026 release. Probably doing some what's that called, crisis control, damage control, after that news went out last week that Clayface really didn't have a script at the end of the day.
Crisis control sounds like a comic book event.
Yeah, DC's crisis control.
They're adapting crisis control. Wow. Yeah, that's I don't know. Maybe Peter Safran needs to stick around for a little bit longer until they get this figured out.
Or just put Peter Safran in front of Warner Brothers Movies and says, "All right, James, now you got to meet these deadlines. We got investors, on this. You can't keep writing everything yourself. You got to give it to somebody else."
I mean, no matter your opinion on Gunn, the man can definitely write a lot. Maybe there's a more eloquent way to say that, but I feel like I always hear, like, my wife is a writer, and I always hear, like, from people that write, like, most people don't like writing, but they love having just written. They love having the piece of material done and the writing out of the way. But Gunn seems to love writing for the sake of it, so much so where they rendered him
they drew
in the
him.
process of writing at the bin of Creature Commandos. So it just seems like if you put a project in front of him, write a movie, he's like, okay, yeah, I'll write a Batman movie in a weekend. That's fine. So I mean, that's a talent for sure.
Yeah, I guess as long as it's good. I'm not gonna say anything he writes is great yet. I think he can do good, but not great. But if he's given Clayface to someone else, it's interesting. I looked up this writer and kind of looked what he did. Since Drive is 14 years old, by the way, Mike. In case you didn't know that.
Wow.
It doesn't feel like it. He's wrote Snow White and the Huntsman. He wrote half of Obi-Wan Kenobi, the show. Did you watch The Alienist? I didn't watch The Alienist. But he was an uncredited writer on Gangs of New York, so he's got some good stuff in there. I think it'll be fine. I don't think it matters to the writer as long as the story's good. And if Mike Flanagan has the skeleton, this guy's just fleshing it out. But we talked about this last week. I don't think the DCU's in trouble, Mike. I just think we need some solid commitments other than Superman and Supergirl. I know Lanterns is being filmed right now, right, as well. But I would love to see some, rather than just, hey, we've got stuff on paper. Let's get some stuff rolling down the road. Last bit of news here. We're moving pretty quick today. It's on a Saturday, and there's not a lot of news the week after another movie comes out. Is that Peacemaker season 2 gave us our first trailer. Speaking of James Gunn writing things and directing things while he's doing Superman, we got Peacemaker season 2 trailer, and I didn't expect this week, Mike, if I'm going to be completely honest with you. This was coming out of nowhere, and there's like 3 things I want to talk to you about. The first is that they just literally drop in our first appearance of Sean Gunn as Maxwell Lord and Hawkgirl and Guy Gardner Green Lantern just being complete dicks. And I did not. I had no clue that the Justice Society was going to even be in the show at all. So that was a really interesting opening. That's kind of left an impression with me. What about you?
Yeah, a tall order for Sean Gunn to take the mantle of Pedro Pascal's Maxwell Lord. A good thing that wasn't a good movie. So, but I got to imagine it's just like, oh yeah, the last time people saw this character, it was Pedro Pascal. Good luck with that, Sean.
No one's going to remember who Maxwell Lord is. Nobody who watched 84. I barely remember Pedro Pascal was Maxwell Lord. This one looks actually much different.
Yeah. And from the very beginning of the trailer, it seems to be almost like we're picking up almost exactly where we left off. It kind of seems like Peacemaker like finished killing all of those like aliens, and then like, oh, he's being dropped off right back where they were, and he's like being interviewed for a role. So I don't know. Maybe there has been some time that place, but it feels like we were kind of like hitting the ground running. And also, it was weird seeing Nathan Fillion. I was like, oh wait, I just saw you in a Superman trailer. And then also Hawkgirl was weird because the actress is currently in The Last of Us. So I was like, my brain is bouncing all over the place. Like I'm trying to like reset where I've seen all these characters
with Pedro Pascal.
Strong start of the character of the trailer.
Absolutely. And it's kind of one of those things. I think it's called Crank Toys, by the way, which is pretty funny. But like, this is very interesting to me, and the parallel here. James Gunn has gone on record and said multiple times pretty much all of Peacemaker season 1 is canon, except for the Justice League at the end, right? With Jason Momoa and Ezra Miller's Flash. And so like the first thing they give us here is like the new Justice Society. Like obviously I don't think there's a Justice League yet. So like, oh, we're getting your version immediately in this, despite the fact the last thing we saw in Peacemaker season 1 was the old versions. So he's moving very quickly to wipe that under the rug.
I'm kind of curious. I meant to rewatch that scene just real quick. I was going to pull up HBO Max and just go try to catch it again. I could see something funny, like maybe somebody says like, oh yeah, there was like a gas leak in that field and you all hallucinated the superheroes being there. That could be a possibility. But also I know throughout the series, I remember him basically like saying like, oh yeah, Batman's like a dick or whatever.
Aquaman fucks fish is what he said, if you remember.
Yeah, correctly. So I guess if you go by just what he says, these characters need to exist already, but it seems like Superman is kind of establishing like, oh, these heroes have already been here. So all of that dialogue sounds like it could be safe. It's just the appearance of these actors. Yeah. So it would be funny to explain it by like, oh yeah, you were hallucinating or you were just seeing what you wanted to see. But I've seen a lot of people like really go into crazy theories because there seems to be like a multiversal component in this trailer, and they're like, that's what it is, it's these doors, it has to be it.
So yeah, you're really like, the beginning of the trailer, the end of the trailer are the most interesting parts of this trailer. In the middle, it's James Gunn's wife, I can't think of her name, something Holland. Jennifer Holland.
Jennifer
Holland. I forget her character's name in here, but essentially being diagnosed with toxic masculinity, where she wants to fight and prove herself the whole way, which is fun. I think the character dynamics in Peacemaker work as long as it's kind of reeled in. But then at the end, the last 30 seconds or so, after we see Eagly return in a cabin, we see his name is. What's his name? Christopher something. I forget. Chris Smith. In essentially his dad's pocket dimension room from the first season. His dad, was it the White Tiger or something like that? The clan member. So he goes in, and then we get to see a poster of Hanoi Rocks, which is the people who sung the intro to the first Peacemaker, the dance intro.
Oh, okay, that's what that was.
Yes, and then he's essentially. Point blank with another John Cena Peacemaker behind him with a gun to his head with a slightly different outfit, like similar enough, but like slightly different to be, different. But like, is it multiverse? So I saw the stupidest theory I heard, Mike. You want to hear the stupidest one I heard on this?
Yes, please. Absolutely.
It's Clayface. I was like, that is the stupidest fucking thing I've ever heard in my life, is that they think that this other Peacemaker is Clayface. And I was like, that is the dumbest thing. But like, I don't know, like, do they need to do multi-dimensions? I thought TV shows were getting out of multi-dimensional shit. Like,
I feel like if James Gunn is reading the room and he's trying to start something fresh from the ground up, if they're going to do this, it's going to be more of like, this is going to be like narrative introspection for Peacemaker. He's probably going to he's going to figure out, how do I be my own hero, even though like I'm kind of a bad guy, but I got all this baggage left over from my dad. Maybe if I meet another Peacemaker from another reality that maybe has a different relationship with our dad, I can kind of work through it that way. And then, I could see like in the final episode of the season, there's some sort of like explosion that destroys this tool or technology or pocket dimension, and then we never see it again,
I'm going to lean the complete opposite direction. I don't think it's real. I think at the end of season 1, didn't we see he killed his dad? He's hallucinating his dad at the end of the first season, remember? Like he's there. Maybe this isn't a real Peacemaker. Like this is like a mental construct that's fucking with him because he's in his dad's pocket dimension. Like,
yeah, I suppose it could be a possibility.
I don't think they're gonna do real multi dimensions kind of thing. The other thing is here, I actually don't have it in our notes. If you go back to 2 minutes or 1 minute and 51 seconds, people say it's Michael Rooker dressed up as some sort of maybe a Native American shaman of some kind, surrounded by blue flames. Have you seen that photo online yet?
Yeah, I've seen that floating around, and I'm like, does his maybe his soul is kind of existing in another plane of existence?
It's a different character. Like the first character was like the one who ran away and got killed in Suicide Squad. I think he maybe, if it is multiversal, it's just a different character. But like, the blue flames kind of lead into some sort of weird, magic, spirituality thing. If you also look closely, it looks like he's shot in the head. If I'm going to be completely honest, he's got like a red bullet hole on his head. Like, is he shot in the head? Is he, immortal? What is it? It also could not. Maybe it's not Michael Rooker. Maybe it's somebody else who just happens to look like Michael Rooker. Because
a big advantage of like writing within the DC universe is you have a lot more tools in which to explain anything that you want. Mm-hmm. Like, Marvel is very kind of based in science and dabbles in magic, where like DC universe is like flipped. So there's lots of ways that you could explain seeing Michael Rooker dressed as a Native American with a bullet in his head,
Right. And if they did cast Michael Rooker, he looks different enough. He could just be a different character. We didn't get enough of him in the Suicide Squad to actually people to know that, hey, that's Michael Rooker kind of thing. So, but I did remember this, and I looked it up a couple months ago. James Gunn teased a Native American character from behind. I'm going to actually send that to you in our text message here, because he shared this image 7 months ago for when they were filming Peacemaker.
Oh, yeah,
too.
That's right.
So it's not the first time we've seen him. This is just the first time we've seen him from the front, because it looks like this is the front of that same image there. Overall, the Peacemaker seems to focus on both Peacemaker and Jennifer Holland's character. I do love the addition of Tim Meadows. I'm going to be honest. Tim Meadows plays a sarcastic straight man so goddamn well in everything he does. Mm-hmm. So like when he's given off like the nicknames to his like little SWAT squad, like doesn't he call one of them titties or something like that? Yeah. And I'm like, only he can make that sound like yes. Like, are you being sarcastic? It's like, no, yes. Like he could pull both ways off so well. So I love that Tim Meadows is in this as well. I think he's just going to add a whole different level as I guess maybe like an Argus person. We see a couple shots of Frank Grillo showing up as Rick Flag Sr., who's trying to get some justice, revenge for him killing his son in the Suicide Squad movie. So now we're referencing two projects the entire time backwards, Mike. Not just Peacemaker season 1. We're going to the Suicide Squad as well with this. Anything else? Like, it seems like a fairly straightforward kind of teaser. Coming out August 21st on Max. Anything else for this?
Yeah, I'm looking up because I'm curious. Okay, Joel Kinnaman, who played, I guess, Rick Flag Jr., is 45 years old, and Frank Grillo is 59, so he's almost 60. So, but that's only 15 years apart. So I guess you could maybe age him up a little bit. Actors can play, outside of their age. So, but definitely he had his fictitious son in this world when he was like a teenager.
Well, if you use their real life ages in a fictitious world, yes. I think Frank Grillo looks younger than Joel Kinnaman. In real life.
It is kind of. I think maybe it's like. This is just going off of just instinctual memory. I could be totally wrong, but Frank Grillo, I feel like is shorter than Joel Kinnaman, or just kind of maybe smaller in stature. So I just perceive that as younger because the other one's bigger, which is just a crazy way to look at it. But, I mean, I feel like I remember having fond memories of Creature Commandos. So I was kind of, I liked seeing him in the trailer. Like, it gave me like, oh, this is cool. Things are kind of finally starting to kind of connect a little bit.
I think Creature Commandos is not worth anyone's time. But the thing is, I was going to say, Frank Grillo, and they gave him gray hair in animation, but in here they've definitely dyed his hair black. Like it's the dark hair. It's the dark hair that makes him look younger, right? Like for being 59 in the show, he looks younger because his hair is darker. And I think in the show they kind of grayed him up a little bit. And then Joel Kinnaman, he's like a blonde, like a dirty blonde, I guess. He just looks older. I mean, I don't know that I wouldn't. I really would think Frank Grillo would have been the same age when you were reading the ages off. I thought they would have been the same age, if not a hair younger. But whatever, it's fine. This is Frank Grillo's second outing again in comic book movies that we know of, from Captain America, Winter Soldier, where he tried to beat Captain America up in an elevator. Didn't work out for him too well. He got beat so bad they sent him to DC. That's what happened to him. But yeah, overall, it's been a while since I thought about Peacemaker season 1. The thing that is on everyone's mind, Mike, what song is he going to use for the intro, and what dance are they going to do?
Yes, exactly. I mean, this trailer, if the Thunderbolts is passing the mom test, where mom is checking it out tomorrow, Peacemaker season 2 passes the wife test, because I told her like, hey, there's a trailer for Peacemaker season 2, and she was just like, yes, let's watch it right now. And she has not been super excited about comic book stuff in a while, but she really loved that first season of Peacemaker. So we are fans of John Cena in this house, so we will be excited to see him on the screen again.
Yeah. And, I was just kind of reading the YouTube comments here. It's just one of these things like 4 years ago, Mike, 5 years ago, I would never have known who the hell Peacemaker was. But so with, again, to James Gunn, the credits, I know I'm not like the diehard he can do no wrong fan of James Gunn, but like with the right writer, the right actors and everything, he has literally brought unknown characters to the goddamn limelight. And I appreciate that about him, right? Guardians of the Galaxy, no one knew who they were before their movie. Peacemaker, all these other ones. A character called Ratcatcher, never would have known. So I applaud him for bringing characters forward, and even getting 2 TV seasons out of John Cena's character here. He was technically the bad guy in the Suicide Squad. That's it for the week. Yeah, actually, we got to an hour almost, so I'm feeling pretty good about it. Mike, if people want to know what you're up to, what you're doing, tell my mom I said hi. Where can they do that at?
Yeah, they can read my web comics at liferewardsrisk.com and pickledcomics.com. Chris, people want to catch up with you. Where you at?
You can find me on Instagram, Valdan87, VALDAN, or Video Game Systems of the same name. If people know about the show, where they can get our release date calendar, that's always up to date as much as we can. I've got to add Peacemaker in before this goes live, but it'll be up there when it goes live. Where can they get all them goodies?
Yes, head on over to superheroslate.com. That is the pocket dimension where we keep all of the stuff that we do here at the show. We're on Apple Podcasts, YouTube, Spotify, wherever else you like listening to podcasts. We got merch at superheroslate.com/store. We love hearing from you. Let us know what you're watching, reading, playing. And if you want to be a super fan of the show, all you have to do is share the show with a friend, share the show with a buddy, and we'll be here every week, folks.
That's right. We'll see you guys next week.
Bye.